Broadcasting from the southernmost headquarters of the Exceptional Conservative Network, it's the Willie Lawson Show. It's the hippest urban conservative trip in America. And now, your host, Willie Lawson. All right. We had a little technical difficulty here, but we got it. But we seem to have got it worked out. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is indeed the hippest urban conservative trip in America. The Willie Lawson Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media and syndicated by our friends at High Plains Talk Radio. We appreciate everyone coming this morning. I think we've got a very important show. I think we've got something that is it's going to make you think. It's going to make you wonder about what's actually going on and who's actually in charge and who should we listen to and who should we ignore and what causes should we actually back. You know what? This is again because this show is all about opening your mind to things that you hadn't thought about yet. This show is all about looking at things differently. You know, a lot of us, black folks, a lot of us have been trained, frankly, to look at every situation through the eyes of a liberal Democrat. We're actually looking at things through the eyes of the white liberal Democrat. Everything that's an issue, that we are not encouraged to look at things through our own eyes, through the eyes of the urban conservative, or the eyes of the urban dweller, of the eyes of the black American. We're not encouraged to look at things as they are. We're encouraged to put on some rose-colored glasses and look through everything through the prism of liberalism. When the fact of the matter is that you need to take off those glasses so you can see what's going on around you. There are two Republican senators, Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, that have said that they are not going to vote for Trump's pick to lead up the Department of Education. Now, I'll tell you, normally, this doesn't have much to do with the hood. I agree, and we have not, much to our distress, much to our hurt, have not paid much attention to this kind of stuff. I understand. But it's time that we do that. It's time that we have a paradigm shift. You know what? This is, again, the Exceptional Conservative Network, and I think that liberals would have you believe that we are somehow powered by the Republican Party and that we're all Republicans and that all we do is back Republicans, that we never take the other side, that we never go after other Republicans. And quite the opposite, actually. The problem with some of these programs is that they do just that. We're not going to fall into that trap. Our purpose is clear. Our vision is clear. It's about where we live. It's about where I live. I tell people all the time that I don't live in the ghetto, but I do live in the hood. What? You want to know the difference? Okay. The ghetto is where the ghetto bird flies every night. The hood is where it only flies on the weekends. There you go. So schools matter to me. Education matters to me. You know, we did our show yesterday called See Our Way to the Future. And C is an acronym for safety, economics, and education. So education is really a very important factor. So when I hear about the Department of Education, which is going to exist right now, it's not going to be gotten rid of, and that's too bad, because those funds could be better used on a local level than some high and mighty pie-in-the-sky nonsense from Washington, D.C. But as long as that's our reality, it's something that we're going to have to deal with, isn't it? So let's go ahead and deal with it. Donald Trump has picked Betsy Devos as his person to head up the Department of Education. All right. Now, who is Betsy DeVos? Betsy DeVos has, quite frankly, has been a little cozy with Common Core. I'm not a Common Core fan. I'm not a Common Core supporter. I think that, again, curriculum and standards should be at the state level, not at the federal level. And they have done a lot of bait and switch around the country, especially where I live, on Common Core. They even called it, this is because it's what the left does, they called it Florida Core. It's not really Common Core. Yes, it is. It's the same stinking thing. Where the feds decide what the standards are, and they provide curriculum, which you're not supposed to do. Curriculum should be developed at the local level, not even at the state level, but the local level. So she's a little footsie with Common Core, and I don't like that part of it, quite frankly. However, she is a supporter of school choice, and if you listen to the show in the past 3 weeks, you know that I am indeed a big proponent of school choice. I said years ago on my friend Ed Dean's radio show that broadcasts all over the state of Florida on 660 WBOB out of Jacksonville, I said, whoever mentions school choice first, whichever presidential candidate mentions school choice first will win. Donald Trump mentioned school choice, and he is now the president of the United States. So when I tell you that I'm right all the time, I only tell you that because I'm right all the time. That's the only reason I tell you that. It's not because I'm just saying it. I'm right all the time. So if I tell you something, write it down. So Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, two Republican senators, went onto the Senate floor yesterday to announce their intentions. Now, was that announcement necessary? No. What this announcement is telling Donald Trump that you're not going to get what you want with our help. It wasn't enough just to go through the process and not vote for her. No, they had to make a stand. And I'll tell you, there's a whole bunch of reasons why they had to make a stand. And I'll tell you that when we get back from these messages. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. Three important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm. With fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight, Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. All right, we're back with more of the Will Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. We appreciate you being here with us today. All right, I've said since the beginning that this is that school choice for urban America is an important deal. Now, and this is something that Tiffany, the soccer mom, and Lamangelo, or whomever, the urban mom, have in common. They want the best educational experience for their child. Both people, somebody riding a bus, somebody driving a Chevy Suburban, want the best education experience for their child. This is something they have in common. So even if the soccer mom lives in the suburbs, they probably picked that house because of the school district it was in. They could have, because a lot of people who have means could have picked any school district, or they could have lived anywhere they wanted to and sent their kids to private school. And even if they're living in a good school district, they still may have their kids in private school because they choose to. Not because they have to necessarily. They choose to. They put them in a good secular private school, or they put them in a parochial school or a Christian school or a charter school. It's because they choose to. They have done their work, they have done their due diligence, and they have decided. They get to decide. Listen to these words, because they're very important. They get to decide where their kids are actually getting their educational experience. They're not, because they have means, they're not being told. They're not being told by anybody where they can send their kids for their educational experience. Or they're even choosing to educate their children at home. Okay. It's choice they get to have. Choice is freedom. They get to have the freedom. Let's do that. Let's substitute the word choice for freedom. They get to have the freedom to choose where their kids go to school. Right? All right, fine. They get to do that. Now, urban mom doesn't get that freedom. She doesn't get that choice because the teachers' unions have run roughshod over school boards. They have run roughshod over city councils and county commissions. They have run roughshod. It seems they've run roughshod over state reps, U.S. reps, and of course U.S. senators. NEA owns Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine. Owns them, which is why they had to go onto the floor. They couldn't just vote silently and not vote for Betsy Devos. They could have done that, but the idea was no. They've got to fire a shot across the bow of Donald Trump to say, oh, and let all the NEA supporters in the place, the people who have been supported by NEA, know that guess what? We are firing a shot across the bow of Donald Trump. We're not going to support his nominee because she is a proponent of school choice. And the NEA is not. The NEA wants to force everybody's child to go to the public indoctrination center that we call schools of their choice, to support their union teachers, to support their union life, to support their union activities. Well, I thought that liberals and Democrats were about making it so black people and brown people could have choices, could have a better life. And one of the things about having a better life is having choices. I'll tell you what, my own personal life, there's only a couple of reasons to have money. It's not because you get to pay more taxes, as the left would have you believe. One of the benefits of having more money is that you have choices, which means you have freedom. You can choose to do this or that. You can choose not to do this or that, too. Now, I often wonder, as I'm driving to work, if I won the Powerball for $400 million, I'm kind of weird that way. I'm kind of wacky that way. I'm not thinking about the things I would do. I always think about the stuff I wouldn't have to do anymore. I always think about the crap I wouldn't have to do anymore. That I would just choose not to do because I'd be able to choose not to do. And it isn't just I wouldn't go to work anymore, because I probably would. I like what I do. But I will tell you what, I'd have a much different attitude about it. I would have a much different attitude. The people that I wouldn't talk to anymore. I'd still be here at 9:05 every day. But the people that I wouldn't talk to anymore. Not that the stuff I'd tell them, but the people I just wouldn't associate with anymore. At all. And tell them, why? Because I don't want to. I never liked you. Ever. Yes. I don't know. It may not be the best thing for everybody around me if I got a hold of $400 million all at one time. But it would give me choice. It would give me freedom. And I want the same sort of freedom for the urban parent as the suburban parent. Obviously, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski do not. I think it's because these women are out of touch. They are completely and totally out of touch. Let's look at some numbers. For the numbers on the governing.com website, the numbers for 2011-2012 four-year adjusted cohort state graduation rates for public high schools by student race and ethnicity. Alaska, where Lisa Murkowski has a 70% graduation rate. That means that 3 out of 10, 30% of the students in Alaska did not graduate from high school. 76% of white children did, 70% of Hispanic kids, and only 61% of black students in Alaska graduated from high school. 61%. 4 out of 10 black children in Alaska did not graduate from high school. And Lisa Murkowski doesn't want to give those parents choice because she gets her campaign funds and who knows what else from the NEA. She wants those 61% of those kids to be stuck in the public indoctrination centers they call schools. And made an announcement on the Senate floor that that is her intentions to deny Trump's nominee, who is a proponent of school choice, her vote. Let's look at Susan Collins, the other nutcase. Senator. Things are a little better in Maine, where 85% of the total graduate from high school, 86% of white kids graduate from high school, 80% of Hispanic kids. Now, I'm not sure how many Hispanic kids are in Maine or living in Maine, but still, even with 85% of the total, black children are 13 points lower than the state average. 14 points lower than the white graduation rate. 14 points lower. 19 points lower than Asian and the Pacific Islander graduation rate in Maine. And Susan Collins is saying, school choice is not an option. Why? Because she is owned. She is being pimped out by NEA, by the teachers unions. It's obvious. It's apparent. That's what the deal is, because nothing else makes any sense. And this is more anti-Trump ridiculousness in a Congress. The same people who were horror stricken during the presidential debates when Trump was asked if he would accept the results of the election, and he said, "If I win. Otherwise, I'm going to leave my options open." Remember? Where Hillary Clinton said, "That's horrifying." What? And all the left, and as Mike Huckabee said, the hand-wringing, bedwetting Republicans, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, just got all nutty. They're all doing exactly what they said was horrifying for Donald Trump. They are resisting him at every single level. Democrats are have decided to boycott meetings of the Judiciary Committee. And so the Judiciary Committee, the people who are in charge of getting these nominees to the Senate floor, because they know they're going to lose. They're not going to the meetings, so these committees can't have quorums because they can't do their business. Are you kidding me? Ladies and gentlemen, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. And if it were the opposite thing, you would see this on CNN and MSNBC, and Rachel Maddow would be throwing a hissy fit every day. You'd have to put a spoon in Chris Matthews' mouth. He'd be foaming at the mouth. You know what? Matt Lauer and all the pukes on the Today Show would just be apoplectic. But are you hearing about any of this stuff other than from us here at TECN, SHR, High Plains Talk Radio? Are you? No. You're hearing almost none of it. Almost none of it. And you're not hearing, especially if you decide to be an urban conservative, if you've decided to join us in this mission, because the last thing they want, the last thing the left wants, the last thing that the liberals want is for this sort of behavior to get out and let us know about it, how they're reacting, how they're behaving, because they know that this is not what we want. This is not what we elected. This is not what 13% of black men wanted when they cast their ballot for Donald Trump. Listen to me. 13% of black males said, give us this. 13% of black males said, you know what? Maybe it is time to vet these refugees. You know what? Especially in Michigan, maybe it's time to start looking at our immigration policy, because it seems that there are places in our own country that are in our own country that are being overrun by people who don't live here. Maybe it's time that we do something. About our unemployment rate, especially with our youth. Maybe it's time we do something. Maybe it's time that we do something. And this man is actually talking about doing something, about curbing the influx of illegal aliens that take the jobs from our kids. Maybe it's time we do something. 13%. 13% of African American males said, it's time to do something. So now they've stopped talking to you. They're freaking out. They're doubling down on the nonsense. What they're doing is going back to talking to themselves, young white liberals, anarchists, who are now deciding that here's how they're going to react. They're going to go to UC Berkeley last night, and I want to make this switch because I want to talk about this when we get. I want to talk about this. The other side is that Milo Yiannopoulos, who is being deemed, labeled with being a leading portion of the quote alt-right, whatever that is, that's just the right that's always existed. That's the same right that Andrew Breitbart talked about. That's the same right of people who were punk rockers and rock and rollers and Hollywood types that were conservatives. That's the same, quote, alt-right that we were talking about. Those are the same people who were the log cabin Republicans. Log cabin Republicans, you know what those are? Those are gay Republicans. That's the same group of people that mainstream media has labeled as, quote, alt-right, like they're some sort of nefarious group of people that are Nazis, white supremacists, any other people that you can toss into Hillary Clinton's basket of deplorables. It's about the label for them. Because if they can label you something, if they could label you something that is distasteful, then they can discount anything you say. Now, it's tough with somebody like Milo. And if you don't know anything about Milo Yiannopoulos, you should Google Milo Yiannopoulos and Google some of his speeches as he engages young minds in college campuses around the U.S. Milo is from the U.K., where he says they don't have a First Amendment, and he was confident that here in the United States, on university campuses, especially at UC Berkeley, that prides itself as the beginning of the free speech movement, that he would be able to meet with a bunch of college students and speak freely about controversial things and have dialogue. However, he was never able to because there was some ne'er-do-wells who actually prevented him from speaking, and it looked like they were going to cause violence, and that's exactly what they did, while the UC Berkeley campus police just sort of let it ramp up to The whole idea that there were fires in the streets and broken windows and violence. Milo's team had to get him out of there. That's the left that they don't want you to know about anymore. They don't want you to know about. That's what's actually going on. These are the people who say that they're protecting you. These are the people who say that they are thinking about you, that they're thinking about us, that they're thinking about black and brown people. They're not thinking about black and brown people. They're only concerned with themselves and their own power and their own position and their own prosperity. They don't care about us. Thank you, Michael Jackson. They don't care about us. First of all, and what they're afraid of, and what they're afraid that we'll find out is that 13% of African American males, of black males, found out in this election cycle is that they've never cared about us. They've only cared about themselves. That they never have. Which is why they're acting out. Which is why you're not seeing. My wife asked me this morning, so where is Black Lives Matter in all this? Have you seen much Black Lives Matter activity? Now, when we said before that Black Lives Matter didn't have anything to do with any of this, that Black Lives Matter was something else entirely, we got all sorts of hate. Remember what I said at the beginning of the show? I'm right. As a matter of fact, I'm always right. Put in the bank. What you hear on the Willie Lawson Show is true. Always. Always. All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media, and syndicated by our friends at High Plains Talk Radio, right after these messages.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
This is your business diva, Melanie Collette, inviting you to join me for my new show, Money Talk with Melanie, on January 16th at 10 a.m. on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Joining me will be Dr. Brooks Robinson of blackeconomics.org. We will discuss President-elect Donald Trump's New Deal for Black America. I hope you'll join us.
This program is being syndicated on the High Plains Talk Radio Network. For more information, go to www.highplainstalkradio.com. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. Three important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate, when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work. www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm. With fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight, Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. You know, it's always kind of humbling to be able to do this on a daily basis. But it's also humbling to know that there are so many of you that support what we do. There's that are continuing to back, to continue to support and lift up, both in finances and in prayer. Fight Back Media. Fight Back Media is the group that I have founded that produces this program, and that is starting to do real work in our community to push forth and lift up important urban voices, urban conservative voices. And it's because we believe that it is the medicine, the cure for what ails urban America. The urban conservative, the healing, the cure for the disease that urban America is suffering is found in the soul and the mind and the intellect and the heart of the black conservative. I didn't say necessarily black Republican, but the black conservative, because that's the heart. The black conservative has the heart of the freed slave, where everything is possible, where everything is possible. The black conservative is at a point in their life where every possibility is open to them. It's the second that they found out that they were now a free people. There wasn't anything that could be denied to them. There was no fear. There was no trepidation. Everything was completely open to them. And that's what's in the heart of black conservative. And that's the heart of fightbackmedia.com. So if you'd like to help us, if you'd like to get there too, if you'd like to have that, the elation of freedom, the elation of liberty, the elation of knowing that everything is possible, and not just possible, but possible for you and your family and your community, go to fightbackmedia.com. That's www.fightbackmedia.com. And click, and if you want to help us out, click the donate button there under my picture, under my video, and make sure you sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is going to come out on the 15th of this month, Our first newsletter is going to come out on the 15th of this month. Let everyone know what we're up to and how you can help and how you can start Fight Back Media Clubs where you are. It's not just a message. It's a movement. All right, now, listen. Before we took the break, we were talking about free speech and Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo Yiannopoulos, again, is what the left is calling one of the proponents of the, quote, alt-right. I'm not sure what that is. It's something that it's something that the left can use to sort of mush and mash a bunch of people who disagree with them, that don't look like them, that have always been kind of out of the mainstream, that have always been right. Again, that's actors from Hollywood. That's the people who are punk rock stars. And I learned about all these people while talking to Andrew Breitbart. There's a bunch of people, a bunch of different kind of people that don't walk around, in their Reagan suits, with their blue blazers and red ties, that are very conservative. They may not be Republicans, but they're very conservative and always have been. And they're Christians, and they believe in God, and they think abortion is murder. But a lot of people don't know and haven't known because they don't really talk about it. And that's really the alt-right. Now, Milo Yiannopoulos has said that he is a provocateur. He's the guy that goes out and pokes the left in the in the eye. And boy, oh boy, they don't like it. They don't like it one single bit. Not at all. Because Milo can be vulgar. You know what? He's not afraid of poking holes in all the leftist, feminist nonsense. Income inequality, rape culture, all that stuff. All that stuff. And that bothers them greatly because he's he's the gay guy, and the gay guy is supposed to get in line. Remember, how black people that we're just supposed to get in line. What we're not supposed to do is ever question the slave master. The slave master says, you know what? This is what we're talking about now. We're talking about transgendered bathrooms, and everybody who is on our side is that's what we're talking about. We're talking about transgendered bathrooms. We're not talking about your crappy schools or your lack of jobs. We're not talking about that anymore. What we're talking about is transgendered bathrooms, and we're all supposed to just get in line. We're talking about gay marriage now. We're not talking about crime in your community. We're not talking about your 75% of your children are born without the benefit of marriage. We're not talking about how the family structure in your neighborhood has been destroyed since Johnson's War on the Poor. We're not talking about that now. We're talking about gay marriage, and everybody on the left, and if you're on the left because you care about people, you should be with us. And the so-called leaders in your communities abandoned your communities to stay connected to the money of the left. So we could talk about transgendered bathrooms, and we could talk about gay marriage, and we could talk about everything under the sun other than what's going on where you live, what's going on where I live. Because we were all just supposed to get in line. So what Milo hasn't done as a gay man is get in line. He just hasn't gotten in line. And boy, the left hates him for it. So much, in fact, that they are they're doing everything in their power to silence him. James, head of Twitter, after some comments he made, actually he didn't even make them, his followers made them on Twitter, banned Milo Yiannopoulos from Twitter for life. And how much horrific stuff have you seen said by people on Twitter? Hell, said live. When Madonna said a few days ago that she actually thought about blowing up the White House. from what I understand, she has still not been banned from Facebook or Twitter for threatening the lives of the President of the United States and the people who work in the White House. However, tweets from Milo Yiannopoulos supporters has caused Milo Yiannopoulos to be banned from Twitter for life. It's because that people are listening. The left sees that people are listening. People are actually looking for answers. People are actually looking for something other than the mainstream media puke. And people like Milo Yiannopoulos are providing it. This is just a little bit of Milo. Let me make sure I got all this happening. This is a little bit of Milo after. Let's see if I can I can get this to play. After let's see here. I think that's it. After his harrowing set of events last night at UC Berkeley. Okay, there you go, and that's what it's really all about. That's what it's really all about. We're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of the Will Lawson Show here on the Exception Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media and syndicated by our great friends at High Plains Talk Radio. Right after these messages. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. 3 important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best. That you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm. With fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight, Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. This is a production of Fight Back Media Group. For more information, go to www.fightbackmedia.com. All right. Welcome back to the Will Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SRR Media and broadcast all over the planet by our friends at High Plains Talk Radio. We appreciate you being here this morning. I'll tell you what, my friends. We are in a time that our focus is going to be required more than ever. We are going to have to make decisions about what we see, and we can't be led to the left or the right, that we've got to keep our eyes on the prize, and our prize is our community, where we live, the people that we live around, our community, our stores, our schools, our kids, our churches. Because there's a lot of forces out there making a lot of noise that don't have anything to do with us. Till we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself.